and welcome to Sweet 16, where we watch some sweet 16 minutes of gameplay and have a chat about what we're seeing. Today we're jumping into Vampire Survivors, as played by Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hello, Rad.
And we've also got Joe with us.
Hello there.
And I'm Rad. Alright, so I hear that this is a game within the Twilight universe, and you're Edward Cullen, and you've just survived your life with Bella, what's her name?
That's exactly right. And the world has also ended and you've got insane powers and you're doing crazy.
Amazing.
No, actually, no. Sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint any diehard Twilight fans. But no, it's Vampire Survivors. It's its own brand new thing. It's kind of like a roguelike bullet hell, I guess like a tower defense, but you are the tower.
See, all those things really appeal to me because I love tower defense games. I love bullet hell games. I'm okay with roguelikes. So I'm digging what I'm seeing here, but you move around, which to me is not a tower defense game.
It's more like a tank simulator because you truly become just like a powerful, unstoppable force.
It's a portable tower.
It's a portable tower. Tower on wheels. They exist.
Okay, I'll allow it. Well, tower on wheels, would we still call that a tower?
I don't know.
You know.
Let the audience decide. But it's a one-handed game. So as you might see, there's different attacks coming out of my character Pasqualina right now. But I'm not in control of those. All I press is WASD, or as I was on the controller, just moving around, and then all my abilities passively fire off to different degrees of control.
I do love that. And so I'm assuming there is a lot of gem collecting, those little blue ones that we're seeing, that you're skillfully trying to get to without getting hit by enemies. And then assuming that those allow you to buy whatever upgrades you need.
That's right, yeah. So I'm dip, duck, dodge, diving, and weaving, or whatever the 4Ds of dodgeball are, just to get in and get all those gems. And then eventually they will level me up, which lets me choose one of 3 abilities.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get to aim anything.
I don't get to aim. Oh, I do get to aim the knife because the ability allows whichever direction I'm facing, a knife will fire. But my passive ability for Pasqualina is the thing that shoots behind me.
So the gems aren't currency, they're just experience.
That's exactly right. The currency are little gold coins that you'll start to see pop up a bit later. And those are used in between runs because this is a roguelike to level up your abilities that are...
Oh my god, bad.
Yeah, bats everywhere. They're used to level up your abilities to make the next run easier, but they aren't used inherently in the game. And
Yeah, okay.
as you can see, we've hit 2 minutes now, which means every minute a new kind of enemy will appear. At the moment, it's going to be a bat swarm, and this happens for about 40 to 50 seconds, but we've also got heaps of other mini bats flying in too.
So does it change what, I guess, enemy swarm comes at you with each run? Or will, like, at 2 minutes, always the bat swarm happen?
Great question. So I've only done 5 rounds so far, and on this one map, and every single time it's been the exact same like structure of enemies. The most I've gotten up to is about 20 minutes, and it's stayed about the same every single time. However, there are additional maps. From what I can count, there's 7 levels you can unlock, so you can kind of plan ahead.
I love the level up screen with all the gems raining down. That is just very satisfying.
It's a very satisfying game, Joe, and I believe you mentioned before, it's like designed to feel good, and I felt very good playing this game.
Triggers all the little dopamine centers of our little brains.
Honestly, and wait till you see a chest pop open because it feels like you've won the lottery. It's unbelievable. So I've just done a little skip for the sake of time here, and as you can see, we've got a new wave with some skellies bearing down on us.
I am feeling the movement of this game. You know how like sometimes you watch something and your body kind of like moves with it and you're ducking and diving in time with the beat, I'm gonna say.
Totally.
I'm getting that big time here.
It's crazy because when I watched the initial trailers and everything, I couldn't quite get it myself, so I'm glad you can get it. But playing the game, you really just immerse yourself in it. You're like, your eyes are constantly scanning for your next exit, where you can go, how you can escape any kind of like massive situation you get yourself into.
I used to play a lot of Geometry Wars, and this is kind of triggering that center of my brain.
Oh, great. Yeah, amazing. Were you skilled at Geometry Wars, Joe?
I was pretty good at Geometry Wars. I can't remember where I placed, but I placed pretty highly on the leaderboard for Geometry Wars 2. Like,
whoa,
top 100 in the world at one point.
Well done.
Joe's good at everything.
My friends wouldn't let me play. Like, they always wanted to have a go, and their turns would last about 5 minutes, and I would play for about 45 minutes for one turn, and then would get bored and walk away.
Incredible.
See, I never played Geometry Wars, but for some reason, and I know they're not really the same at all, it's triggering a little bit of Little Fighter 2 in my brain.
Ooh, I haven't played that one.
I used to play so much of it, and I think it's just something about the constant movement and throwing out lots of attacks to kill waves and waves of enemies. Like, look, there's going to be much better comparisons of games, and Geometry Wars is probably a better one, but something about it. Oh, I'm getting Little Fighter 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different from Geometry Wars. It's mostly the movement, I guess, and like the swarms of enemies coming at you.
And the way you're just constantly dodging.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, at first, the first few games I played, I felt a bit defensive, and I was just trying to avoid. But then I read some tips online, and it says just be offensive. And I even stood still at that point just to see what would happen, and I just still kept tearing things up. So it doesn't feel like you're being overwhelmed a lot. It just feels like you have heaps of enemies you can just tear through.
And do you find that it feels satisfying in how powerful you get? Because that's like the most important thing in these kinds of games, right?
Totally. I'm going to be honest, you'll see it later in this, because this is just one run that we do because it was so crazy to me. I was overwhelmed by how powerful I was, and I didn't know if I could get any more powerful. But here, as I mentioned, you get crazy amounts of money and excitement out of opening chests. But yeah, as I was saying, I got to a point where it was so damn powerful that I actually had to run into a horde and let myself succumb, because we had more than sweet 16 minutes. It was too much. It was too powerful.
But didn't you just want to play to see how far you could get for your own personal, like, knowledge?
I did, but I also make sacrifices for this channel, and that was one of them.
Do you think if you're really good, you can basically play forever? You can be like me and all your friends will walk away because you're taking 5 hours on Vampire Survivors for one turn?
Here's the thing. It's actually time capped to 30 minutes. So a full run finishes at 30 minutes. So the goal is to survive for 30 minutes. You then get all your abilities and everything. A bonus, I suppose, to go towards the next run.
Hence the Survivors.
Precisely, exactly. And they want you to go on to additional levels. So I've unlocked the next level, which is a library, which I'm keen to try out. Looks like it's got some Medusa monsters and stuff in it. But yeah, you truly can't just play forever and ever.
Well, that's good.
See, I kind of like that because it encourages shorter sessions where you don't get too lost in it. Because this is absolutely the kind of game that just begs for one more go.
Yes.
And if it's capped, it sort of helps you be like, oh, well, I got to the end of a run and that's a good stopping point. If you just die, you're like, oh, I'll have one more go.
You also know that, if you've got 30 minutes spare, you can do a run.
But here's the interesting thing, though. Because it's such like simple gameplay, mentally to commit up to 30 minutes for a pretty simple concept is like, I don't know, I can see this being a bit of a challenge in the future after I've played it for a couple of weeks to be like, do I really want to spend like another hour, like 30 minutes to an hour just doing another run? Because 30 minutes is like a bit of a long time,
Well, that's future you problem. If you enjoy it for now, like, who cares what future you thinks if you like it now?
That's true. I've spent hundreds of hours on Slay the Spire, so I'm sure I can do more Vampire Survivors.
I say this to everyone who says they like Slay the Spire, but play Monster Train as well. It's so good.
Amazing game. Have you done all the Covenants, Brad?
No, not all of them, but I have beat the final boss a couple of times.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got nowhere near that, so that's very impressive to me.
It's very good fun. But anyway, back to Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, sorry. This game is also early access, so I believe it came out at the end of last year, and it was I think it's $2.99. It's like super cheap and affordable.
Really?
Yeah, and because of that, it's taken the world by storm. Like, people are like just loving it.
It does look like fairly polished for an early access game. I don't feel like I'm seeing a lot here where I'm like, yeah, that looks rough. That looks like it wouldn't quite be finished.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely.
Is it on mobile? Because this actually looks like the kind of game I would love on mobile.
Oh, interesting. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look it up right now. But at the moment, I'm pretty sure it's just early access on PC.
Because it would work as well, like simple controls.
Yeah, you just drag yourself around.
A little idle, sort of, almost, yeah.
Maybe it might be on, because it's on Game Pass, and maybe it's going to be on...
Oh, you can do cloud gaming with it.
Yeah, potentially. Okay, it looks like it's on PC Game Pass only at the moment, but definitely, I agree, this would be perfect on mobile. But as you can see, still leveling up. I'm sorry I didn't get to pause and show you the kinds of abilities, because like I mentioned, I really focused on getting my knives leveled up here.
You got a lot of knives coming out.
Lots of knives, because she has this thing that shoots behind her, but I wanted something to shoot forward so I could just like charge through a mob of enemies and just tear them apart. And knives turns out they're pretty good for that.
Nice.
But then, yeah, enemy scaling, they get a bit more difficult, bit more spongy, so you have to put multiple bits in there.
Is the roast chicken there like health pickups?
That's right. So I actually purchased a like auto regen health, so it does like a little bit of health every second or so.
Oh, I love health regen.
Oh, me too. I needed it. The first few runs I did, I got decimated. I was like, how am I supposed to heal? Thankfully, it's a passive.
There's also a little bit of loot hero to this for me.
Okay, yeah, I can see it. Totally.
I guess it's just that kind of like graphical style and the way a lot of the passiveness works and the way that you have those kinds of upgrades. I mean, look, you can draw parallels between any games if you really try hard enough.
I do love the giant praying mantis.
Yeah, so I guess this must be a mini boss or so, because on the 10-minute mark, that's when this big one comes out, but at 5 minutes, we also had a smaller version. You also notice a ring of death with these flowers, which you can't actually kill.
Oh.
But you can juke, yeah. So that's like temporarily meant to like shepherd you in and stress you out a bit, but again, you just get so powerful so quickly, stress doesn't really happen, it's just...
You can just tank through the flowers.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me, you know?
Do you get body blocked by enemies or can you run through them?
Good question. You can run through them, thankfully. It's just that they're gonna tear you to shreds with their close area attacks. However, you eventually can get like garlic or some other kind of upgrade that like injures them when they run into you as well. So there's really no stopping you.
I'm really into this.
I'm hesitant to recommend it because you will lose the next 5 hours of your day playing it.
You know what I also like? I love the look of this and I want to play it, but I'm so over loving early access games too hard too early, and then when the final game comes out, I'm like, I don't need to play it, and like I've boned myself by spending way too much time with the early access version, and now I can't enjoy the full final version as much.
Yeah.
That's fair, but I think it also depends on how different the final version ends up being to the early access version. Like, sometimes it really is pretty much what you're going to be playing. Maybe they add a few more levels or heroes or weapons, but, you know, you'd see that normally in patches.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Or some kind of DLC. Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, I'm standing still here again just to test it out, and you just become so ridiculously powerful.
There are just so many gems.
Yeah, and now there's werewolves. I think what they keep doing is adding levels in at least like different areas. Because when I first did my first like 2 or 3 runs, I'm like, why am I stuck in this one endless biome? Because you can't go anywhere. But it's because they want to add different like enemy types and keep them like thematically in different areas, which I like. There's no real story, but it adds a different vibe to every level.
I also love for them that they can basically just change the color of a texture, and it's like, that's a new level.
Yeah, this is desert
This grass is brown now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess that more or less is what the difference will be. And gameplay-wise, to me, you know, it already looks pretty tight. And I would think that they wouldn't need to change too much in that regard. Like, I'm not seeing... Oh, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh my
So
God.
just when you thought I couldn't get any more powerful, I picked up this, I don't know, I would describe it as a burrito or a quesadilla. It's definitely not, though. But you just start, like, incinerating everything around you. I've also sped up the gameplay a little bit here just because we're running out of time. But...
This was you desperate to keep playing the game, but also keep it to 16 minutes.
Exactly right. And just show you how insane this is. Because as you can see, I'm running through mobs right now, but because I have shields and everything, like, I'm surviving. And this is also crazy what's about to happen. We're about to gain, like, a lot of levels very quickly.
Oh my
What's happening?
goodness.
It's like...
Did you just get like a giant gem or something, or?
I don't know what happened.
Right.
But I just got 5 levels in quick succession. And I'm like, why? Why am I more powerful?
You're like, there's too much on screen, I can't tell.
Yeah. I genuinely didn't know how much more powerful I could get unless I was like clearing things before they even got on screen. Like, that's how crazy this game.
You're just too good at the game.
Apparently, on my 5th run. And you can too.
This one really needs a photosensitivity warning because it is poppin'.
Yeah, maybe we should slap that one up before this episode. Good idea.
Yeah, as well,
I'm gonna do
yeah.
that because yeah, it's crazy. And we're already at a point now where we're all just kind of watching it in awe, right? There's not heaps to talk about because it's just chaos. But when you're like in it, when you're in that moment and the exhilaration and the thrill of just trying to find...
I'm so glad you got that chicken. Like, every time you get towards the chickens, I'm like, yeah. Oh, we're still in the game, buddy.
Survive. Exactly.
Yeah, I have no questions. I'm just following it.
Yeah.
Just in awe.
I'm just waiting for this to end so that I can go get the game.
Honestly, you will not regret it. It's very good. And now that Joe, you mentioned mobile, I'm gonna just literally hold on to that because it will be every single commute every day of my life.
I mean, yeah. There's so many trash mobile games. It would be nice to have a good one.
Hey, FTL.
Oh no.
So you said that you died intentionally, but I'm gonna say, Jordan, it looked like an accident. It looked like you got got.
Look, you call my bluff. I did get got. It was fortuitous. I didn't complain and throw my controller in rage, but I did get got. So you are correct. But that was Vampire Survivors. Everyone should play it. Everyone should set aside a Sunday afternoon and just spend 6 hours just grinding it out.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to us because I think I'm definitely going to go play it. So thank you, Jordan, and thank you, Joe.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
Are you guys going to play Vampire Survivors? If you are, let me know some tactics because I'm going to need them. Let me know what your top score is. Are you always hitting that 30? Remember to subscribe to the ABC Gamer channel and hit the notification button for more cool videos from us. And we'll see you next time.